Senate will come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Senators Baisley, Bridges, Buckner,
Excused.
Coleman, Cutter, Danielson, Exum, Fields, Gardner,
Excused.
Janal, Gonzalez, Hanson, Hinrichsen, Huckes Lewis, Kirkmeyer, Colker. Liston. Lundin. Marchman. Moreno. Mullica. Pelton B. Pelton R. Priola. Rich. Roberts. Rodriguez. Simpson. Smallwood. Sullivan. Van Winkle. Will. Winter. Zenzinger. Gardner. Mr. President,
Here. The morning roll call is 34 present, 0 absent, 1 excused. We have a quorum. Will the good senator from Jefferson County please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Thank you, Mr. President. Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the journal. Senator Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate Journal of Monday, January the 30th, 2023 be approved as corrected by the Secretary.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no? No. The ayes absolutely have it. That motion is adopted. Senate Services.
January 31st, 2023, correctly printed, Senate Bill 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, and 98, correctly engrossed, Senate Memorial 1.
The moment you've all been waiting for. General orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar. Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate resolve itself in the Committee of the Whole for consideration of General Order, second reading of bills, consent calendar.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The motion is adopted and the Senate will resolve itself in the Committee of the Whole for the consideration of the General Order, second reading of bills, consent calendar, and Senator Zenzinger will take the chair.
The committee will come to order and the coat rule is relaxed. Will the clerk please read the title of the bill on General Order, second reading of bills, consent calendar?
Senate Bill 19, Senators Colker and Simpson, Representative Bazenaker, concerning consumer protection for Coloradans purchasing vehicles from out-of-state online retailers.
Majority Leader Moreno.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move for the adoption of the one bill on the consent calendar, which includes Senate Bill 19.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of the bill on General Order, second reading of bills, consent calendar. All of those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it and the bill is adopted. Majority Leader Moreno.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion before the body is to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. The committee will rise and report.
Senate will come to order. Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has had one bill under consideration. Will the clerk please read the report?
Mr. President, your Committee of the Whole begs leave to report that it has had under consideration the following attached bills, being the second reading thereof, and makes the following recommendations thereon. Senate Bill 19 passed on second reading and ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage.
Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the committee resolve itself in...
Senator Zenzinger.
Wait.
Can you just move the report?
I am
we're all a
moving
little
the
rusty.
report.
We're all a little rusty. The motion is the adoption of the Committee of the Whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 1 excused, Committee of the Whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 19 passed on second reading, order engrossed, and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. General orders, second reading of bills, Senator Zenzinger.
Now I move that the committee resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of general orders, second reading of bills.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The motion is adopted and the Senate will resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for the consideration of the general order, second reading of bills, and Senator Zenzinger will take the chair.
The committee will come to order. The court rule is relaxed. Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 51?
Senate Bill 51, Senators Hinrichsen and Sullivan, Representative Ortiz, concerning preparation of a skilled workforce for the changing nature of work.
Senator Hinrichsen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Colleagues, this bill codifies the Office of Future... Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the bill and the committee report.
To the committee report.
And so, thank you, Madam Chair. The committee met and they voted the bill out of committee.
Is there any discussion on the report? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of the Business, Labor, and Technology report. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it and the report is adopted. Senator Hinrichsen, to the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll get there. I'm a little rusty. This bill codifies the Office of Future Work, created in 2019 by executive order in state statute, and expands the duties of the office. That expansion centers around identifying transition opportunities for emerging industries and exploring the modernization of worker benefits and protections with requirements for proper stakeholding and partnership engagement. It also modifies the state apprenticeship agency to comport with U.S. Department of Labor guidelines. And with that, I also have an amendment. It's up there, okay.
There is an amendment on the desk. Will the clerk please read Amendment L003?
Amendment L003, Senator Hinrichsen, amend printed bill page 8, line 5.
Senator
strike in.
Hinrichsen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If we turn to page 8 and read one of the sentences up towards the top of the page, it says, Council for Apprenticeship...
Senator Hinrichsen, can you move the amendment?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. I do move the amendment. I move the amendment.
To the amendment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So if we turn to page 8, there's a sentence that reads, Council for Apprenticeship in New and Emerging Industries, or CANEI, means the Council for Apprenticeship in New and Emerging Industries. This amendment simply takes one of those ins out.
Is there any discussion on Amendment L003? Really? No discussion? All right. All of those in favor of Amendment L003 say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it and the amendment is adopted. Senator Hinrichsen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move for approval on second reading for consideration for third reading and final passage of Senate Bill 51 as amended.
Is there any further discussion? Senator Lundeen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is a pleasure to see you in the chair, Madam Chair. The wisdom of crowds versus the pick your descriptor of government. The wisdom of crowds gives us marketplaces. It gives us a free exchange of ideas and the ability to define the best value possible. Now, workforce is incredibly important in Colorado. I am a proponent of developing the workforce of Colorado. In fact, you'll see very soon a bill coming through the Education Committee and hopefully shortly thereafter here on the floor, a bill that actually gives incentive to and the creation of development incentives for individual students who might be seeking a place in the workforce, the ability to get to a job right out of high school, maybe while still in high school, or the ability to get to a certificate that might give them advantage as they're seeking an opportunity for employment. But that particular approach, the approach that I'm taking with a Democrat Senate colleague, provides for freedom of choice, individuals to say, I have an interest in participating in the marketplace of ideas and the marketplace of job opportunities in a way that I would approach it. What Senate Bill 51 does is it continues to push forward an idea and a construct that was presented first in Senate Bill 21-1007 that basically says, we're the government. We're here to help you. We're here to tell you what you should do as you seek a job, as you look for a future employment opportunity. And in so doing, it creates another edifice, an office, an agency of government that costs the people of Colorado money so that the state of Colorado can tell other people in Colorado, here's what you should do as you seek out a job. So I rise to lay down a principled argument, an argument that says the wisdom of crowds is far superior. Market forces, the animal spirits of people freely choosing to interact with other people who are freely choosing to offer opportunity in a way that best defines the best pathways forward for both those who would provide opportunities and those who would seek opportunities. The challenge I have with this bill, Senate Bill 51, is government intrudes into that, what should be a free dialogue, and says, we are the government. We're here to help you. Here is what you ought to do. I don't think it's the best pathway forward. There are many detailed arguments I would make against this bill as well, but since this is our first second reading approach to bills, I simply wanted to come down and lay a principled argument and a definition of why I'll be a no vote today and a no vote when this bill comes through on thirds, should it actually pass by virtue of the gavel of the chair behind me. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 51. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and Senate Bill 51 is adopted. Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 10?
Senate Bill 10, Senate Bill 10, Senators Bridges and Simpson. Representative McLaughlin, concerning the Water Resources and Agricultural Review Committee.
Senator Simpson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Senate Bill 10.
To the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Colleagues, this bill is really about process and highlighting the importance of water and the water discussion in this body. Each and every one of you, every one of your constituents are touched by the challenges in this state around water. This is a bill that takes the interim water and agricultural resources review committee and takes the interim away from it and gives the chair, the good senator from Avon, the ability, when passed, to call a meeting as needed of the committee. The ability to introduce bills doesn't change, and that process doesn't change. But I can't highlight for you enough the importance of this body being better informed and better educated about water challenges in the state. You just work your way around the state, the South Platte River, Nebraska's attempts to intervene and dig a canal and divert water out of the South Platte to Nebraska, and they're actively pursuing that. Continue to just work your way. The Republican River and the challenges they have with their compact compliance, really tasked with drying up 20-some thousand acres of groundwater irrigated corn and milo and crops in the Republican River Basin, the Arkansas River Basin. Kansas routinely is watching every move Colorado makes to make sure we stay in compact compliance, which really resulted in some conversations last year about thousands of cease and desist orders for illegal ponds constructed that violate the compact. The Rio Grande Compact in my neck of the woods is always under scrutiny. And I'll highlight for this body, last year, legislation was introduced in Washington to craft a task force of federal agencies to draft, consider, and implement an integrated water resource management plan for the Rio Grande from its headwaters in Colorado to its terminus in the Gulf of Mexico. That's unimaginable that Colorado would allow the federal agencies to dictate water policy on the Rio Grande. We have a compact agreement with New Mexico and Texas on how to run this, but the challenges just continue to grow. And then work your way around the Colorado River system. There's hardly a day goes by that there's not another article about the challenges on the Colorado River. Matter of fact, this morning, yesterday, 6 of the 7 states in the basin that are signatories to the compact agreed to a set of, it's about amending the operating guidelines for how Lake Powell and Lake Mead are going to be operated for the near future. But the pressures just continue to build. We will see an abundance of opportunities and challenges in this body when it comes to dealing with water and the water security issues that we face, where demands just continue to grow and supplies continue to dwindle. It's with that in mind and a number of other opportunities and challenges in the interim, what's now characterized as an interim committee, that this bill is so important and we can address these challenges head on. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Senator Bridges.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I first really understood that water is different in Colorado in college when my professor in a freshwater biology class was talking about how farmers in Ohio plow their fields in a particular way to get water off the land as quickly as possible. And I raised my hand and I said, you mean they plow their land to keep the water on the field as long as possible? And she said, no. And my mind exploded. Water in Colorado is key. We are one of the lead agricultural states. Weld County is one of the top 10 agricultural counties in the entire country. As a headwater state, we have the highest elevation of any state in the union. It is literally all downhill from Colorado. Global warming, climate change is reducing the amount of precipitation that we get every year. Wildfires, drought, making it harder for us to maintain that agricultural heritage of our state. The snow that many of us ski on turns into wheat, corn, alfalfa. It turns into feed for the delicious cattle that we eat. And if we don't have a standing committee on this, given the challenges that we are seeing today, we are going to lose out to other states that are keeping a closer eye on this. It is critical that Colorado has the ability to convene these conversations in this committee on a year-round basis. That's what this bill does. I ask for an aye vote.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I rise colleagues in strong support of Senate Bill 10 and want to thank the good senators for bringing this forward. As a member of the Water Resource and Agriculture Review Committee, I just wanted to note for the body a few technical things that this bill changes that I think are very positive for this General Assembly. One, it says that we would be changing the statute that the committee has to meet at least 4 times a year. Current statute says we can meet up to 6 times a year, but in the past few years, for a variety of reasons, we haven't even met 4 times. And that's not a good reality for Colorado right now. It also sets the precedent long after all of us are gone here that the legislature will continue to meet consistently to review water matters. And That is incredibly important as we have ebbs and flows, pardon the pun, of legislators who have interest in water or not, or no interest in water. We need to make sure that this committee continues to meet. Second thing I want to note is last year we changed the title of this committee from the Water Resources Interim Review Committee to the Water Resources and Agriculture Review Committee. This is an incredible way to honor our state's agriculture industry and ensure that it's getting the constant review and attention that it needs throughout the year. So I rise in strong support. Want to thank the good senators for bringing this bill. This is a really important step forward for all the reasons they stated, but putting a marker in Colorado that we take this incredibly seriously, and we need to talk about this all year round.
Senator Lundin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I too rise, rise in support of Senate Bill 10. This does something simple but profound, and there is a poignant moment in what we are doing right here, right now. This bill removes interim from the committee that deals with water. Now, one of the bill sponsors, the good senator from the San Luis Valley, Alamosa, is, quite frankly, I think a fulcrum point, an inflection point that's important to acknowledge as we consider this issue. He is a fourth-generation farmer from the San Luis Valley, the valley in which the most senior of the water rights in Colorado were first established, if I have that right. And so here, 4 generations later, we are finally saying, hey, here in Colorado, we kind of figured out that water is important enough that the interim committee we've had to think about this, talk about this, deal with this, is important enough to make it permanent. And I think that is a moment of poignancy. I would like to think that 4 generations hence, the folks that are honored by the ancestors of the good senator from Alamosa, that in fact his descendants, 4 generations hence, might say, you know what, our great-great-grandfather stood in the well of the Colorado Senate and helped everybody understand how critically important water is to all of us. And today we actually have enough water to live not a parched existence, but a well-managed and verdant and full existence. So I thank the sponsors for this. I just wanted to add my voice to this, what I think is critical inflection point, and what I hope is a change in the way we all order our priorities with regard to the policies and the issues we take up, and we all add water to, if not the first, but the second or third order of priority that we engage in the policy matters of the state of Colorado. I thank the sponsors for this, and I stand in strong support of Senate Bill 10. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion for the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 10. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and Senate Bill 10 is adopted. Majority Leader Moreno.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion before the body is to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the committee will rise and report.
The Senate will come to order. Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has had a number of bills under consideration. Will the clerk please read the report?
Mr. President, your committee of the whole begs leave to report it has had under consideration the following attached bills, being the second reading thereof, and makes the following recommendations thereon. Senate Bill 51 is amended. Senate Bill 10 passed on second reading and ordered, engrossed, and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage.
Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the adoption of the report.
The motion is the adoption of the committee of the whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, the committee of the whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 51 is amended. Senate Bill 10 passed on second reading and order engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Consideration of governor's appointments consent calendar. Will the clerk please read all of the appointments listed on the consent calendar?
Members of the Colorado Water Resources and Power Development Authority for terms expiring October 1st, 2026. Bruce Whiteland of Hesperus, Colorado, to serve as a representative from the San Miguel Dolores San Juan Drainage Basin and as a representative with experience in the engineering aspects of water projects appointed. Christopher Treese of Glenwood Springs, Colorado, to serve as a representative from the Main Colorado Drainage Basin and as a representative with experience in public health issues related to drinking water or water quality matters reappointed.
Majority Leader Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the confirmation of all the appointments on the consent calendar, which includes the members of the Colorado Water Resources and Power Development Authority, former Senator Bruce Whitehead, and Christopher Treese.
Is there any discussion? The motion is the confirmation of all of the appointments on the consent calendar. Are there any no votes? With 34 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 1 excused, the appointments are confirmed. Announcements. Senator Bridges.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask for a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, you may have heard, and if not, I'm sorry, I'm the bearer of bad news. Rich Jones at the Bell Policy Center has passed away. And so we have a tribute here from the Senate honoring his work. And I'll just go ahead and read it here. The members of the Colorado State Senate are saddened to join the family, friends, and colleagues of Rich Jones in mourning his loss of life. Rich will be remembered for his generous spirit, love of sports, ability to help others understand the most complex of policies or issues in simple terms, love of a good story, humor, and kindness. He was an integral part of the Colorado policy community, highly regarded and respected by legislators, staffers, and advocates across the ideological spectrum, and a mentor and colleague to countless policy leaders and advocates. We extend our deepest sympathies during this difficult time. I knew Rich from his work on the Secure Savings Plan. He also worked to reform the Child Care Assistance Program, increase minimum wage, and there are folks across this state and this country that because of his work in the NCSL and at the Bell Policy Center will never know who Rich is, but whose lives are dramatically and greatly improved. This is a loss for our state, it's a loss for the country, and if the Eagles win in 2 weeks, I have a feeling it's because Rich, once again, is working behind the scenes to improve the lives of the folks that he cares about. There's a memorial tonight at the Bell Policy Center offices, and that is at 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. You're all invited to join us there, and we are joined here today by Rich's wife, Brenda Erickson, and his colleague at NCSL in the Bell, Natalie Wood. Thank you, colleagues.
Senator Winter.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to request a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Today with us, we have members of the Colorado Lung Association and the White Ribbon Project bringing awareness to lung cancer, along with their ambassador, Miss Colorado Senior America 2023, Joni Ryan, is over there. So everyone wave, or please feel free to stand up. And they are with us today to bring attention to the importance of radon testing in Colorado. Radon testing is the radon is the number one cause of lung cancer in non-smokers and the second leading cause of why folks die from lung cancer. And so making sure that we all promote testing to ourselves and our constituents. There are many, many homes within Colorado, given our terrain, that have radon. And so they're here bringing awareness and bring awareness all year round. And we're very excited to welcome them to the Senate floor today.
Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Joint Budget Committee staff will be providing a training tomorrow, Wednesday, February 1st, from 8 to 9 in the Old State Library. The training will cover Colorado's budgeting process and the supplemental appropriations. We encourage everyone here who's interested in knowing more about Colorado's budgeting process to attend. New and returning legislators, aides, interns, and staff are all welcome. So please join us tomorrow morning in the Old Supreme Court, or excuse me, in the Old State Library, and JBC staff will be providing that training. Thank you.
Senator Hawkins Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today, this afternoon, is Prop 123 Day. So if you have any questions about Prop 123, please join us in the Old State Library, 2 o'clock, joint hearing between House and Senate, local government and housing. Thank you.
Further announcements. Introduction of bills.
Senate Bill 99, Senators Zenzinger and Kirkmeyer, Representatives Kipp and Frazil, concerning funding for special education services.
Education.
Senate Bill 100, Senator Gardner, Representative Snyder, concerning the Uniform Community Property Disposition at Death Act.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 101, Senator Kirkmeyer, Representative Bradfield, concerning candidate ballot access for primary elections.
State Veterans and Military Affairs.
Senate Bill 102, Senators Gardner and Rodriguez, Representatives Wiseman and Sober, concerning implementation of the Committee on Legal Services recommendations in connection with the legislative review of state agencies' rules.
Legal Services.
Senate Bill 103, Senator Baisley, Representative Lynch, concerning the liability of owners of private land for damages that are incurred by persons who access the private land for recreational purposes.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 104, Senators Coleman and Hansen, Representative Bacon, concerning an adjustment to the total employer contribution rate of the Denver Public Schools Division of the Public Employees Retirement Association in connection with the equalization status of the association's Denver Public Schools Division with the association's school division as required by the merger of the Denver Public Schools Retirement System with the association.
Finance.
Senate Bill 105, Senators Danielson and Buckner, Representatives Gonzalez, Gutierrez, and Bacon, concerning the implementation of measures to ensure equal pay for equal work.
Business, Labor, and Technology.
Senate Bill 106, Senator Gardner, Representative Bradfield, concerning the income tax deduction for military retirement benefits.
State Veterans and Military Affairs.
Senate Bill 107, Senator Liston, concerning the expansion of existing property tax exemptions for certain owner-occupied primary residences.
State Veterans and Military Affairs.
Senate Bill 108, Senator Baisley, Representative Frazell, and Representative Puglisi and Frazell, concerning temporary reductions in property taxes due.
State Veterans and Military Affairs. Announcements. Majority Leader Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate recess until 10:30 a.m. today. Colleagues, you do not need to return. We're simply reading bills across the desk.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no? That was weak. The ayes clearly have it. The Senate will stand in recess until 10:30 a.m. today.
Thank you.